Hola mi gente, it's Kat. I'm back a little bit. I know. Updating more than normal, so yay me for doing that a little. Anyway, I have kind of rebranded, not really. I just kind of changed my channel name to Cat and Too Many Books because that is the truth of my life. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to come in here and I don't think I've ever really done the Booktube Newbie tag. I'm technically not a newbie. I guess I am. I mean, I'm whatever. And I found so many awesome new people channels with the Booktube Newbie. I thought I'd do it. The tag. So I thought I'd do it. You notice I'm not really prepared for this. I'm just doing this sort of on the sly. We're gonna do this. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Why did you start this channel? I started a really long time ago. I mean, a couple of years ago, I attempted to start a channel, but you know, I had a lot, and I mean, and I'm sure everybody that has a booktube channel has a lot of things that they do. But it's just it was something fun to do. It was really during the beginning of COVID because we had so much more time at that point when we weren't working and or we were working from home, that we could maybe have a little bit more time to do stuff. And I did it a little bit, and I really enjoy making videos, even if they're just for myself, because really for the most time they're for myself and my friend April. Thanks, April, for following. um but then I decided, this time around, I've attempted a few times. I've done really just starts and stops. But in the past year, there's been a lot of things that happened. I'm going to be very open. Um, my mom passed away in July, actually, right after my birthday. And that obviously hit me very hard. I was very close to my mom. She passed away after a struggle with cancer. And it was rough. And I spent the latter half of last year um, trying not to sit in my feelings and then sitting in my feelings and just kind of making it through it. And I'm not nowhere near through it, but I decided, like, in December, I thought maybe I should just go back and do some videos for myself, right? And just like have something to occupy my time. And I love reading and I love booktube. I love this community. You guys are amazing. I've had such a great time in the community. So I thought, let me just restart it for myself, really, more than anything else, and to talk to, like, the empty void of the internet about books I enjoy. So yeah, that's it. Um, so yeah, I guess it's part of my healing process. Let's put it that way. 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to booktube? um I mean, I think booktube is such a great huge community that you have the possibility of finding a space within the community for yourself. I am, you know, a Latinx uh, queer woman. So I I find that that space is not unique on booktube. There are plenty of Latinx queer women on YouTube, but it's a community I want to be more of a part of. So I think the age may be more unique. I'm in my 40s, and YouTube trends younger, you know, 20s, late 20s, sometimes 30s. Um, and that's the people I follow. I love all the booktube channels that I follow, all these wonderful booktube people, and they're all amazing. And I get such great book recommendations from them, and I don't know, and I just feel like that's something the age is something I can maybe bring into the conversation. I've just noticed that some of the people that I've been following lately are people that are a lot more my age. So I'm seeing like a surgence of like older booktubers coming out of the woodwork, which is great. because it's one of those things that one of the things that I feel is strange is that people feel that at a certain age you can only read certain books. I'm sorry, that's not true. I think like you can read whatever you want to read whenever you want to read. You love middle grade books, read middle grade books. I read middle grade books. They're fantastic. You want to read some young adult sci-fi, read young adult sci-fi. I don't really read young adult sci-fi, but I'm just saying, or young adult romance. I don't really read young adult romance, but that's more because I don't read romance. But I feel like you can do that, and you shouldn't feel ashamed of that. And maybe that's a part of what I want to bring, and it's to say it's okay to read whatever you want to read. And I get that from just hearing other people who are younger than me feel that they can't read certain genres anymore because they're too old. And I don't think that's true. I think that you don't have to read them if you feel you've outgrown them. That's 100% true, right? Like 100% true. But I hope nobody feels that they can't read them because of their age. So yeah, you can read whatever you want to read. If you want to read and it's fun, that's up to you, you know, that's your thing. So yeah, I'm hoping my age and my unique life experiences like will bring something to whatever. Yeah. And to expand on that, I am Puerto Rican. I was born in Puerto Rico and lived there for quite a few years before I moved to the States here, and I grew up in Chicago. I live in, unfortunately for me, the South. That may change very soon. And not that the South itself isn't lovely, but you know, the politics here aren't the best, but we're not going to get into that because that's not what this video is about. So, okay. So number 3, and I keep skipping over something I want to say. What did I want to say? Oh, I'm also a teacher, just to let everyone know. And I have 2, fur babies. Oh God, is that like a cringe thing to say? Probably. I have 2 doggos that are my children that I adore. And a best friend who is also amazing that I adore. She also reads a lot, but she is not someone who's ever going to probably be on YouTube because she does not like being on camera. So, you know, hi April again. Let me go to number 3. This is very chaotic. What are you most excited for about this new channel? I'm really hoping that this just kind of helps me, especially now I'm almost done with grad school. And getting my master's, and I hope this helps sort of fill in that bit of time. I'm gonna have so much time on my hands once that happens, that I think YouTube will be great to do something fun, like change it. Like grad school's not fun. It's something I have enjoyed, but this will be something I'll really enjoy. So I am really excited to just start doing some stuff and getting to know new people. And yeah, I don't know, that may really be it. All right. I'm not sure that I have anything else. I mean, this is going to be a fun channel. I'm going to try to be as consistent as I can, and yeah, we'll see. Why do you love reading? This is just an interesting question. I mean, it's the same as I'm sure pretty much everybody says, right? It's just, part of it is escapism, right? Going into these worlds that are so different from yours. Really being able to place yourself somewhere and just watch these like stories develop, and you know, there's characters that you become so completely in love with, and books can absolutely change your life and your ways of thinking. They can affirm some ways that you're thinking as well. So I think also, like, I like to learn. So I love to learn new things. I love to find new stories, and I love to find new ways of enjoying, like, oh, what's the word I'm looking, like, enjoying a narrative. So yeah, I don't know. I just love the process of reading, of like falling into it. If it's a really great book, you just are there and you just are all involved, and that's probably my favorite part. Just being involved in this world, like the worlds of the books that I'm in, is, yeah, it's something that I love most about reading. I think that world building, but also the characters have to be as good as that world building, or otherwise you just don't attach yourself. So I love to, I'm someone who's prone to really generally becoming attached to fiction. So, it's one of the reasons I love reading. What book or series got you into reading? I really can't remember that. Excuse me for a second. I need to have a little drink here. Sorry. Okay. I don't remember. I don't remember what got me into reading. I don't know. I want to say, oh my God, I generally don't. I just always liked reading since I was really, really young. Babysitter's Club, I used to read those when I was very young. And so I would read, I read all the like my 80s, 90s kind of era of childhood. Books that were out there. I'm pretty sure I read, and I just loved reading. I'm pretty sure I read, oh my gosh, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and I loved it. Lord of the Rings, and I loved it. And then I got into things like Goosebumps. I loved it. So I would read like series, but then I expanded as I obviously got older and picked up on things that I liked. And I would get a different kind of book, like the Dark is Rising series, which I loved when I was young. And then I just sort of, for a while there was a romance girly when I was like quite young in my like teens. So I read a lot of romance, probably some I shouldn't have read at that age, maybe. And then there was like some time where I read, but I wasn't reading as much. And then I don't know, like 10 years ago now, I just really got back into it. And like my focus became more like thrillers. I love thrillers and mysteries. Those are fantastic. I love cozy mysteries because I love cozy mystery like shows. I also love cozy mystery books. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that anything got me into reading. I just read because my mom read to me. She was a big reader. And then, in school, I just really liked reading. So I would pick up all the books and I would love to read anything. When I was 11, let me tell this story real quick because it's ridiculous and hilarious. When I was 11, I was at Woolworths. Woolworths, I don't think exists anymore anywhere. It was like a big department store, kind of like a Macy's. And in downtown Chicago, we had like a big one. And I was there and they had like a discount table when you went in. And Woolworths with like the kind of department store that had like a soda shop in it, like you would eat there, had like a diner. It was a really cool place. I really wish there were still more of them. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm digressing. I went in and there was like a big old like table, with like a bunch of stuff that was on sale. And one of the things in it was this huge book, about this tome of a book that was the complete works of William Shakespeare. And I got it. I got my mom to buy it for me. So I read Shakespeare at like 11. Granted, I have literally no idea what I was reading at the time. I have since reread, of course, Shakespeare. But at the time I didn't really know, but I really actually liked the language of it. Like I remember enjoying the language, even if I didn't always understand what was going on. I understood enough and I was like fascinated with it. And I read that like the whole thing over years. I didn't read it all at 11. But I picked it up at 11 and started reading it little by little, and really started understanding it, obviously, a couple years later. Not that I didn't understand the content, but it's like the word, like what the words were meaning, right? The phrasing, the wordplay that Shakespeare had, that kind of thing. I didn't pick up until I was a little older. But yeah, I just like books, and I would read any book you gave me, and I'm still the same. I love all kinds of genres. I read some more than others. Trying to become a romance kind of girly again. I read specific romances, but that's a different question. So let me move on to the next one. What question would you ask your favorite booktubers? I would just ask them how they're doing. I hope they're doing great. I would more than anything say thank you for all of the things that you put out there, because content like that has helped me get through some really tough times and has really helped just sort of made my life a little bit better. So you all keep on doing the things that you're doing because you're doing amazing. That's all. Okay. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? For me, it's procrastination, or not even procrastination, maybe a little bit. More than anything, I think for me, it's going to be consistency. I have a full-time job. I go to grad school full-time. And when I come home, I'm tired. I mean, we all are. I don't want to sound like, I don't want to complain. Everybody works hard. Everybody has a lot of stuff going on. But like, I'm going to have to like schedule myself a time to do this, like a day to say, okay, I'm going to do this on this day, probably at some point in the weekend, because it's generally the only time I really have a lot of time off. And time, I don't really get home before dark most days. Yeah, probably I'll have to be like, okay, on this day, on a Saturday, I'm going to go ahead and like make a couple videos so that I can then edit it over the week or something and then put them up. Maybe that's the best way to do it. So it'll be just planning. I think it's going to be a hardest thing to planning it and then like being consistent about it and sticking to the plan and making it, relevant or at least entertaining to people. And one of the things I want to work on, and that's not a question here, but one of the things I want to work on is like engaging with other booktubers and like just kind of like, I've watched so many, but I don't think I ever engage, and I think that's so wrong not to do. But I also feel like, I don't know, it's one of those things that you feel like some of these people have so many people that engage with them. Like, do they care? But that's not fair, because I would care, so that's not true. I know all the people out there making wonderful content absolutely care. So that's another thing I think to work on, just engaging with people. I have like 2 YouTube channels. One that was like a main one that I had, that I've had for a while. I think it's now called Cat Reading Books, because that's where I did most of my booktube like watching. So I sort of did that, and then I had started this channel ages ago and called it Casey Reads Books, but now I've changed it to Cat and Too Many Books, because as you will see at the end of this video with a clip I'm going to put in here, I have too many books. So anyways, I'm going to need to find a way to merge that together. I don't know. We'll see what I do. I think I'm going to have to just pull all of my booktube stuff to this channel, which will be interesting because I follow a lot of people. But anyway, so that's my problem, right? So those are the challenges I may face in this endeavor that we're doing right here. All right, so number 8, when did you start reading? I don't remember. I was very young. Maybe clearest memories like 5 or 6. And I don't remember what I was reading, but I liked to read a lot. I was reading chapter books by the time I was in 2nd grade, I think. So 1st or 2nd. So, like Junie B. Jones and Amelia Bedelia and all those things like that. Like, I enjoyed Babysitter's Club and Fear Street, and I was reading those very young as well. So I don't know. Anyways, young. I started reading young, and then I stopped. Not that I ever stopped reading, but I didn't read as much in my 20s. And at the time I was trying to read things like, book club things, or like Oprah's book clubs or other things like that just weren't necessarily my speed, like in terms of like what I enjoyed reading. They had some great books. Sometimes they didn't, sometimes, because I felt, and this is where I go to what I said before, that I needed to be an adult and read adult. No, like, you can read a middle grade book. You can read like anything that makes you happy to read. Please read it. Anyways, so then I started really truly getting back into reading about 10 years ago, I want to say. Like, personally, I was reading for school and at school, but for myself personally, it was about 10 years ago. Sorry. I have the questions on my laptop. I was about to turn off. And then, okay, so where do you read? Usually in my house. This spot right here that you see is one of the places I read. My couch I read, my bed I read. I have a balcony that I may do something video from at some point or other, where I sometimes go out and read. I have a chair in my room that's like an armchair that I sit down and read. I pretty much read anywhere. Those mostly comfy places I like to read. On the go as well. I always have a book in my bag, so if I'm like stuck somewhere, I'll just pull a book out and read. But most of the time is in my house, and in this specifically in this area, like the living room, my bedroom chair that's specifically for reading. So, all right. What kind of books do you like to read? I like to read. It shouldn't even be a lot. I say because I like all kinds of genres. I'm not. Let me say what I'm not a huge reader in. True crime. I'm not a big true crime reader. I would read true crime. I find true crime fascinating, but I'm not a big reader of it. Another one that I'm not a huge reader of is I don't read as much nonfiction as I should. I do want to change that. I want to read more nonfiction. What's another one? Oh, I like horror, but there are genres of horror I'm not a huge fan of. So like body horror isn't a huge one that I read. I like more psychological. I like more like maybe fantasy horror is more my line of what I like to read. So those are kind of what I don't read as much. What I pretty much read everything else. I do like romances, but I do stick to queer romances a lot more. They call to me a lot more. And romances that feature like Black characters and Latinx characters, and so like non-white romance. Not that I wouldn't read a romance featuring, white characters. It's just that's kind of been the norm for so long, and I kind of became sort of boring for me most of the time. Like it was just like I don't know, but like for me, romances and queer romances and romances with Black characters and Latinx characters and other non-white characters tend to call to me more, because I think they say some things that I can relate to better, and they are featuring such a different community and different culture that I find them so much more interesting. So yeah, I do want to get more into sapphic romances. I don't read enough of those. So as a bisexual, I need to read myself some more of my sapphic lovelies, and as well as I've been trying to cultivate and get more a hold of more bisexual representation in my books. So that is something I'm going to work on. And murder mysteries, thrillers, horror. I like just literature. Like lit fit, I guess, not lit fit, fic, like literary fiction. That's what I was looking for. I do like literary fiction. I do enjoy biographies a lot, which I should like get more into. So those are, pretty much anything, guys. Like middle grade I really love, because I'm a middle grade teacher. So I pick up a lot of really fantastic middle grade. And let me tell you, the middle grade publishing world is better than pretty much any other section of publishing, in my opinion. They have some of the most like diverse and in like inclusive like books I've seen in a long time. I love it. So yeah. Okay, so those are sort of some of the things I like to read. And then the last one, which is a bonus one, what does your book collection look like? So I will insert at the end of this a really quick glance at what my book collection looks like. And yeah, that's it for now, guys. This is a really long, I was really hoping this wouldn't be as long as it is, but I hope you enjoy this video. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be trying to do more as I move along through this next year. Let's hope I get through this healing process, and I'm happy if you want to come along with me in the healing process. And I am appreciative of anybody that's here, and I will hopefully talk to you guys real soon with something. I think I have a video that I'm going to try to record. I got the idea from oh my gosh, I got the idea from oh Lord, um, the Unhinged Woman's book club, who is amazing. If you haven't followed her, um, Lisa, please follow Lisa. Um, and yeah, like I loved her. She just started at the it's about a month ago. She started her channel, and I saw it, and I love her. She's amazing, and she did this video just a couple days ago, maybe, where she did a like the big books she wants to read. So I think I'm gonna actually do the same thing. I'm gonna look for the big books in my collection that I'm going to want to read, and maybe do a little like, what big books am I going to try to read? Not this year, but at least at some point in my life. And that, so yeah, that's what's coming up hopefully soon. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And whenever you're watching this, I hope your day is lovely and you all just keep hanging in there. All right. Bye.